everyone, and welcome to another episode of Performance Cafe. And today we are taking a different look at accountability. So I don't know if any of you know the theory of transactional analysis. It's basically a psychological theory that says when two people speaking, there are actually six people in the mix, because each of us has three ways of showing up. Either in a parental mode, that's when we're telling people what to do, we're being kind of judgy or nurturing, or when we are in the mode of a child, where we are either playing to someone's needs to comply, or when we are being rebellious and specifically not complying. And then the third personality is the adult, where we speak to people as equals, and that's obviously the healthiest discussion to have. It's absolutely fabulous. If we remember, we'll put a link to transactional analysis in the notes below, because there's particularly a video that in a couple of seconds really takes it together kind of nicely. But the reason I bring up transactional analysis today is because of compliance. And compliance, remember I said we can have like this parent and this child in the discussion. And the parent is going, well, you're late with this homework, or you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And you go, compliance is going, sorry, I won't do it again. And then never does it again for no other reason but that I just want to comply. I just want to be safe. I just want to do the right thing according to this person to make the pain go away. And I think sometimes when we think about accountability, we think of it that way. We think of it as something that we do just to make sure that we are delivering to other people's expectations. So very extrinsic motivator, right? The motivations from the outside. So I thought this morning, we've spoken so much about accountability and the difficulties around it. And there are really a lot of difficulties, that we've spoken about, and those are real. But I read this fabulous book, and please note, I get paid no money for talking about this book. It is just a fabulous book by my standards. And that is Uncommon Accountability. It's the subtitle is A Radical New Approach. I've mentioned it before, might have held it up even previously. It's written by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. And on, I think it's page 15, don't quote me, but this entire talk is about one page. And on page 15, they talk about the benefits of accountability. So sure, we've been talking about creating clarity and setting expectations and taking feedback and getting feedback, and it's a lot, right? So what's in it for us? Because, well, we should be accountable and we should take ownership, but why? So I must say I went about this slightly differently. There are 15 points on page 15. Maybe that's where the 15 got stuck. And I've grouped them together a little bit so that we can just have a chat today and not just have this list that we're going through. But what I was really interested when I looked at that list, what was really interesting is I think so many of us, I coach a lot of people from very, very different walks of life. And I think a lot of times I see four things showing up. The first is better health. I just want to be more healthy. I just want to have time to eat well. Can I just have time to go to the gym? Can I just have a life where at least I can be consistent about how I deal with self-care? I'm not even speaking self-love, right? I'm just talking about the basics. We also see people go, why can't I be more in control of my life? I work so hard, but other things happen. Like my boss decides that he prefers another person's product or another person's project or whatever the case may be. And interestingly enough, the third thing they'll complain about is finances. Probably should have put this first in the list, right? Why can't I be better at managing finances? Why can't I be better at knowing how to spend my money? And then lastly, along with finances, is can I please be better at using my time? Or actually, the sentence is, can I get more time because there's too much to do in too short a period? And interestingly enough, according to Moran and Lennington, those four areas all improve when one is accountable. So let's take a look at all the different ways that accountability improves our lives, leading to those four changes. The first one, and my personal favorite, obviously, as a coach, is personal growth. So when we take a look at personal growth, we know we want to grow because it will help us be more adept at what we do. And so it sounds like a great thing, but it's tough because we have to learn. And so sometimes we've got to confront what doesn't work and just put all that learning together and find, turn it into something that will. So again, it's not about, oh, this is going to be easy peasy. This is about, okay, I'm going to tackle the really difficult thing, the elephant in the room, or I'm going to take on that difficult task and I'm going to see what I can do with it. The other part of growth is to be exactly that, to be pushing past the comfort zone. So it's not about this is where I'm happy to play and I'll take learning and changes in here. It's I'm going to take learning and changes in here, but I'm also going to push myself. Often in companies, we'll speak about having a target and a stretch target. And that's the sort of crux of it. The target is what is probably highly achievable, and the stretch target is just that little bit more. And if you want to learn how that works, go and check out the work of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi on flow and how that extra stretch target is actually really, really good for us. Now, when we learn as a person, when we grow, when we develop as a person, then we get better results. And the thing is, we are then executing at a high level on high value actions. So the more we learn, the more we grow, the more we get these results, the more we improve, the better the value we deliver, the more people will give us more difficult, more complicated, more rewarding things to do in order to keep us going. Now, that, of course, leads to my next topic, which is confidence and resilience. Because you see, the interesting thing about confidence is if you never risk anything, you're never going to become confident. We actually aren't that confident doing things, or we don't get as much of a kick out of doing things that we're just really good at. We actually have to stretch ourselves. And then we go, I actually did that. Yay for me. So then I improve my self-assurance. I improve my confidence. And as my self-assurance and my confidence grows, people around you will see, wow, that person is really motivated. They're showing us the right kinds of behaviors. They're showing up the right way at work. Now, when people see that in us, that also leads to their confidence in us. Because what happens is they then start seeing as well, whatever you throw at this person, they can handle. They're going to carry on working. They're going to carry on learning and growing in order to make this work. I think that this is a topic that hits me solely in the heart because so many introverts battle with this part. It's not that they're not confident. It's about how do we show that confidence. And that confidence, yes, an extrovert like me will show up and go, yay, do you know that this morning I just achieved this? But for the introvert, that confidence can also mean just making sure that someone knows you did this. Just making sure that one person in the team understands that value that you added. So they'll just ask you again. You don't have to spread it. You do not have to, I know self-promotion is a word introverts hate. You don't have to spread it around the way us extroverts do. But you just need to make sure there's one person, always just one person, preferably the boss, so that they know that you can be trusted with something a little bit more complicated. And of course, once we have confidence, once we believe in ourselves, it's easier for us to become resilient. And what happens is, something will hit you, it will drag you down, and you'll go, oh, I'm having the worst day. But you'll have a cup of coffee, hopefully at the Performance Cafe, and then you will take a breath and go, right, how do I deal with this? Because remember, learning and growth. And therefore, you can be more resilient. And your confidence or your self-assurance will also help carry you through that to know this is tough, but I have got this. I just need to get my head around how to go ahead. So once you've got the learning, the growth, the confidence, as I said previously, it leans itself to being able to influence others. And I think this is the important part of it, is that we can't be accountable in a vacuum. And I think it's very important that we understand that I think nowadays very little happens in life without collaboration. So what we need to do is we need to have healthy relationships. And when we hold ourselves accountable, then people don't actually mind if we hold them accountable. And that means by being accountable, I'm also given permission to lift up everyone around me, right? Because the moment we said it for managers as well, be the role model. The moment you're not accountable, you cannot ask your people to be accountable either. So what this breeds is, if you are trustworthy, if you're accountable, if people can rely on you, well, it's going to breed respect. It's going to breed better results, commitment. You're going to have great integrity. And those things open people up to us. Those things allow people to let us influence them. And then we have a platform to drive this message of accountability forward, to drive our careers forward, to drive forward whatever it is that we are passionate about. And talking about careers forward, well, career growth is the next one. Because if you're going to be trustworthy and have integrity and be reliable, and therefore, because you're being accountable, well, you're going to be more in demand, right? There'll be more opportunities. And people want you on their projects, their initiatives, their teams, even if they can only have just a little portion of your time. And I'm sure you can see how sustained career success will lead to more and more options that'll take you back to growth, and it's going to take you back to self-development and start the whole process over again. So remember when I started in the beginning, I said people wish they had better health, they were more in control of their life, they had better finances, and that they could better use their time. Well, we call that well-being and work-life balance, and it seems to be the holy grail that everyone is after, and we understand why. Well, actually, when you are in demand, when you are accountable, when you can learn and grow and be resilient, it actually spills over. So you see, you'll have better health because if you're accountable, you'll have less stress and you'll have more control to contribute to greater well-being. You'll be more in control, right? Empowered people say no to things that don't fit. So if it's not in your wheelhouse, if it's not something that you are passionate about, if it is not something that you are interested in, it's going to be easier for you to say no, because people aren't going to go, oh, well, you know, she always says no. They're going to go, okay, really, honestly, if she says no, we get it. Better finances? Well, not only will you be making more out of your fabulous career that I've just promised you, but also because you are accountable, accountability in one area sort of tends to spread to accountability in others. And therefore, you will have better control of finances. And then, again, coming back to control of time, again, the same idea as saying no, right? Is you will be able to say no to things that aren't valuable to you. So you'll have more time to do the things you want to. Also, by being accountable, you'll probably make less mistakes and you will try and fight fires before they even arise. And therefore, that will leave you with more space to do the necessary and be accountable and have your work-life balance. So all in all, I think accountability sounds a bit like an old ad that said it's the gift that keeps on giving. I think it was diamonds they were talking about. Not quite the same wheelhouse, but okay. But definitely a worthwhile investment to live a life of accountability, not only for yourself or for the business that you work at, but for your well-being, for your family's well-being, for your community's well-being. It tends to ripple out and have a positive effect on everyone. So if you've enjoyed the stream and you're looking for more, we record these and upload them after the fact as videos on YouTube and Facebook. And then related articles can be found on our website, performforward.com. And the live streams themselves can be held on my LinkedIn every Wednesday, 9:30 SAST, that is GMT -2. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions for topics, please do leave a comment on your platform of choice, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, here's my coffee. I'll see you next week at the Performance Cafe.